Hello, Admiral Thrawn here again, continuing the series on the tournament, like the Third Age Total War tournament, being hosted by Total War Center. This here is the final matchup of round one. This is game two of that final matchup. The previous game will be in the link in the description. It was between themzr and pandachef. And here is the first game. Pandachef won, playing as the High Elves, against themzr playing as the Urkai. Here we have Pandachef, here known as Stoky Gunnar, playing as Arnor, and themzr playing as Gondor. So this should be interesting. It should be like the Kinstrife from Tolkien, though not that I know that much about Tolkien lore. But yeah, there was a big civil war in the realm of Gondor back in the day during the Second Age. Or actually no, it was during the Third Age, in which and it was partially what caused Osgiliath to fall apart. Not to be a complete nerd. So anyways, the realm of Arnor, he is bringing to the fight, I believe, 6 units of Dunedain Rangers. Wow, I'm actually surprised that he brought full 6. Oftentimes, like the way that Medieval 2 works is that when you bring more than like 2 or 3 of a unit, it will start jacking up the price tag on it. So basically, if you bring like 20 Snaga to a fight, the last couple Snaga will cost like the same as a troll or whatnot. So it's generally not worth it to buy more than the allotted sum. But yeah, so he went with 6 Dunedain archers. Also, looks like 2 or 3, I think 2 Arnor pikemen there. Yeah, two Arnor pikemen, looking like they're probably going to act as an anti-cavalry unit for the archers, like archer protection. Which, yeah, that's a good strategy. It makes sense. And then a bunch of heavy infantry. It looks like two dismounted Dunedain knights, 2 battle-ready Dunedain, some Arnor militia, and some hobbitry in arms, surprisingly. Hobbitry in arms, not to disparage hobbits, but they're good as a meat shield, but not much else. Like, if you want to distract their archers or whatnot, or draw them into a trap, then sure. But I mean, really, they're hobbits. They're good at carrying rings to mountains, but apart from that, not very much. But anyways, though, so then we have some Arnor Knights here, and then more Arnor Knights. I think a total of 3 Arnor Knights. Actually, no Knights of Numinos, which is surprising. The Knights of Numinos are really, really good. But yeah, so he went with Arnor Knights. He's deploying them on the flanks here, and he's bunching up his infantry behind his archers, which is also kind of surprising because it looks like he's leaving the pikemen behind as an anti-cavalry force. But we'll see how that works. I guess the reason he went loud on the cavalry is because he's going heavy on the battle stakes, and placing stakes in battles, they basically wipe out any cavalry that gets near them, and so I think the threat here is that he doesn't want to have his own troops get impaled on the stakes, which can be really annoying and dangerous, and which I have done before, sadly. So anyways, I'm going to fast forward here until Gondor finishes their deployment. Looks like Gondor is deploying stakes as well, actually. This will be a very stakey battle. And wait, I think Gondor... Okay, I think I know what Gondor is doing here. He's trying to deploy his stakes behind... Yeah. So basically Gondor is noob boxing, in which he's deploying his stakes behind his troops, such that the cavalry cannot circle around in the rear. This is a really good defensive idea, but it can also be problematic sometimes, because it means that their cavalry can still attack you elsewhere. But basically, though, like, Arnor's cavalry cannot touch the Gondor rear. Gondor, meanwhile, is bringing to the fight... It looks like 2 Swan Knights, which are basically ultimate cavalry, and along with some, like, 3 Gondor cavalry, which are pretty darn good, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 archers, mostly Gondor archers and Ithilien rangers, though it doesn't look like these guys were upgraded at all. Like, I think the custom battles reduce the upgrades that are allowed. But yeah, so it looks like Arnor's cavalry is actually riding through here, which I'm not sure what he's doing there. I think he's going to go for the archers, try and drive them back. And I mean, his archers are already better than the Gondorian archers. So Gondor is sending forward spearmen, which yeah, so they're moving them forward, which I'm not sure is a wise move on their part, because basically this whole formation here is built as defensive. Alright, so yeah, look, he managed to get his cavalry here to the archers. So yeah, this is going to be deadly for Gondor. Especially because their archers are already outmatched. So yeah, and he's just charging in a lot of cavalry there. These archers will probably get routed soon. He has gotten in some spearmen, but again, with Medieval 2, the units have a hard time getting close. Though, actually, Yeah, so Arnor... So Gondor is actually sending his cavalry around the flanks here, and he's getting pretty... Yeah, so yeah, Gondor is getting close to the flanks. Wait, what happened to the pikemen? Arnor had some pikemen here that were hiding, and... Oh, here they are. So they just pulled back to the main line. They're sort of embedded within the infantry. Okay. But anyways, though, so this is basically just a big bunch of chaos, which is actually what Gondor... what Arnor wants right now, because... Now that Gondor is being pushed forward out of their defensive lines, now these stakes will not be able to provide any sort of defensive bonus. But anyways, though, so he's pushing forward. He's got some Gondor infantry, some Fountain Guard, some spearmen, infantry. All in all, I'd say it's a good army, but I would say like my biggest critique or really advice that I would have for themzr in future battles is that whenever he's trying to rush the enemy infantry, he sort of lines up and waits for his whole army to get lined up instead of just charging them. And really, there is something to be said for the full-on, basically, bonsai charge against the infantry, especially when you're in range of archers here. Because here, as we saw in the last game, his infantry is just getting wiped out by the archers. I mean, Gondor infantry can hold it okay, but generally, if you're trying to rush them and get within range of the and get under the archers' range of fire, you want to rush them quickly. So you don't want to just wait here while they shoot at you. But anyways, though, so still though, his cavalry is pulling back around the edges here, and he is getting into this big cav fight here, which Arnor is committing to as well. So yeah, we got the Gondor cavalry and Arnor cavalry fighting. The Swan Knights are in now, and the Swan Knights are really good. Arnor militia is getting into it too. Basically, this is just the massive cavalry pileup here. So if he can get his spearmen into that fight, that would just be really decisive. So yeah, I mean, because really, if you can get your infantry into a cav fight, you win the cav fight. I mean, that's one of the things with Medieval 2, is cavalry, it's still good, but it's just harder to use correctly and effectively. I mean, just because it's less decisive than it is in like Rome 1 or Rome 2 or whatnot. But anyways, though, so yeah, it looks like the Arnor cavalry is getting wiped out. Yeah, they're just basically, yeah, they're done for. Gondor has won the cav fight, more or less. They are losing some cavalry back here, but not enough to make a huge difference. So yeah, he has committed to the attack now. I mean, his troops are getting engaged. The Arnor pikemen are doing some okay damage here, and mostly just sort of acting as a holding action, but they are getting pushed back. I mean, a thin line of pikemen is good for a sort of a brief holding action, but not that much else. So yeah, so the Swan Knights are doing some effective rear charges, keeping his infantry on the run. And all in all, themzr's actually playing a very good game here. He's making it very close. The casualties are even so far. They haven't really... Neither side has a definite advantage. But right now, I would say that themzr is doing a very, very good job here. And he has decisively won the cav fight now. So if he can capitalize on this cavalry advantage that he has, it'll be huge for him. Because look at all these dead Arnor cav here. The Arnor cavalry is basically non-existent now. And he is getting in some good rear charges. The Rangers are getting slaughtered, wiped out. So if he can get his cav around the rear here, then he's in very, very good shape. His infantry is already engaged. And unfortunately, they're engaged on the spikes, like whatever the stakes, I guess, the stakes. So they're engaged on those, and so it'd be hard. But if he can, say, pull his Swan Knights back here and manage to get a really good rear charge on these Arnor pikemen or whatnot, he could potentially break this whole big chunk of units. If he can do that, then he wins the game. But we'll see what happens. The Gondor cavalry is looping around here. They're going in for the charge. These units are really... this unit is really thinly spaced out, so actually a direct charge could probably wipe them out, but we'll see what happens. He's going for the attack, this rear charge here, and he's doing a lot of damage, yes, and he is catching them in there. Yeah, it looks like he's actually capitalizing on this very well. The Dunedain, unfortunately, they're not breaking. They are really... The Dunedain rarely break. It's really hard to get them to fall apart. But yeah, actually he's got some Dunedain Knights out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure what they're doing there. But anyways, though, so his cavalry is committed to the fight. He's pulling back for some rear charging. And yeah, I would say right now, yeah, he does have a pretty good advantage over Arnor. His cavalry, he probably should pull back from this fight here. Yeah, I mean, he's lost half his troops here, but really, if he can continue to take advantage of this cavalry advantage, then he's in good shape. Unfortunately, over here, it looks like his infantry is having problems, especially these spearmen. I mean, dismounted Dunedain Knights are basically ultimate tanky, killer everything things. That got away from me there. But basically, yeah, they're really, really good. So these guys are going to hold off until the cavalry just crushes them. So as long as Arnor can stay close to the spikes, like, or the stakes. I keep saying spikes. As long as Arnor can stay close to the stakes, then they're in good shape. Like, these guys here are safe from pretty much anything. But really, I mean, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The hobbits are still alive, actually. I'm surprised. They're actually doing pretty well for themselves. But yeah, so the cavalry is pulling around the back here, trying to angle in on these archers, which they're doing. Yeah, looks like, yeah, these guys are going to get in a really good charge here. Just going to smack those guys. And boom! There we go. Yeah. So these guys are getting wiped out. And boom again. These guys here are getting wiped out. Though really, I mean, the problem, or the upside, but also the annoying part of fighting against, like, Arnor and whatnot, is that they're really hard to break. I mean, like, they don't break easy. So yeah, so most of his Gondor cavalry is dead, but he has a lot of Swan Knights left that he can take advantage of, as long as he doesn't get caught on the militia guys behind. It doesn't get caught in a prolonged fight. Also, as long as the archers don't wipe him out, because those Dunedain archers are doing a lot of damage to him. So he's going to go in for another charge here, and these guys are pulling around, probably to hit these archers. The infantry is still engaged. Another charge here, and oh, he's actually going for these guys. Well, yeah, this probably makes sense, and I'll just try and break these pikemen. But I mean, really, as I said before, pikemen are really hard to break. And it looks like he's actually moving into engaged infantry. Might be out of arrows. But also, just like by now, is like the archers aren't that useful and all. So he's trying to engage with them. The hobbits are all dead, sadly. Oh well. Long live the hobbits. The Arnor militia is still alive and still doing damage. But these, yeah, so it looks like right now, I mean, yeah, so basically Arnor is having a really tough time of it. The Swan Knights are still doing a lot of damage, so right now I would say it is Gondor's game to lose. The archers are doing damage to these Dunedain Knights. They're still alive and kicking. The Swan Knights here are helping to wipe out the pikemen. But the pikemen have turned around by now, and so there's not many Swan Knights left. These guys are going to get boomed. They're all dead now. And so now it's just a question of, can he finally take out these pikemen and infantry and whatnot? Unfortunately for him, the Dunedain Knights have gotten around to attacking his archers, which is really bad for him because his archers are weak. He probably would want to move his archers around to the flanks of these Dunedain Knights, try and get them around there so that they can hit the rear, because otherwise they're going to have a really hard time actually killing anything. Pulling back his cav for another charge. The militia are now just getting stuck into the fight. But it looks like right now his infantry is actually very shaken, so that's not good for Gondor. But so rear charge and boom, disintegration. So nice to watch as just basically it just evaporates before your eyes as it just gets wiped out with a rear charge. There's 4 of these guys left, so right now what he wants to do is he wants to get around here and start attacking these pikemen. I mean, these guys here, if these guys can break, then he can swing around and outflank the Dunedain Knights. I mean, so if he can do that, which it looks like he is doing just that, he is going to, yeah, he's going to go for the pikemen, and boom, right into the rear, and they're wavering, but they don't quite break. No, the pikemen have broken, the Dunedain Knights have not. So yeah, Gondor's playing a really good game here, but it's still really close though. I mean, they've actually lost a relatively even number of units. And yeah, the fights, this is still anybody's fight. And yeah, then these guys here, unfortunately, these guys are just crushing through the infantry right now. They're just wiping them out. By the way, I keep saying like unfortunately or fortunately, or this is bad, this is good. I'm just saying it purely from the perspective of like whichever player I happen to be sort of impersonating right now. I'm not really rooting for either one. They're both great guys, both great players. They're both awesome, so yeah, I like them both. But yeah, regardless, so these Swan Knights here, that wasn't a good charge there. I don't think they actually managed to get the charge bonus in there, and so they took a lot of casualties. And so now he's the problem is that now they tried to chase the pikemen, which is bad. They're moving too slowly. They're not going to get a charge bonus. Yeah, this could be the end of his Swan Knights, which is going to be really decisive because the Swan Knights are really what's winning the battle for him. If they get wiped out, then that could very well mean the end of Gondor. So, yeah, I mean, really, cavalry charges in Medieval 2 are really finicky. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't, and if you're too close, they're not going to happen. So, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, the Swan Knights are getting wiped out. He's finally focused his archers on them, so they're going to just do a lot of damage. His Gondor's archers are getting wiped out by the Knights of Numenor, so it looks like the tide is actually turning here. It looks like Arnor might actually pull this one off, just because the Swan Knights are almost all dead, and the archers for Gondor are being wiped out really, really heavily. There's still a couple of these Numenos Knights here, or the Dunedain Knights. They're the Knights of Numenos as cavalry, but in here they're Dunedain Knights, which is kind of confusing, but oh well. Anyways, though, yeah, he only has 5. This is actually interesting. I wonder what happens when you ride the correct way through. Yeah, so when you ride the correct direction through the... Oh, never mind. You do get impaled if you turn around at all. Yeah, I mean, really, I'd say that these stakes are kind of overpowered in terms of, like, being able to wipe stuff out. Okay, so he's moving around here to try and get a rear charge in on them, which, unfortunately, once you're very tired or exhausted, you really can't. And yeah, so these guys, they're going to have problems. So yeah, the Gondor general is dead, and this could cause a chain rout. I mean, archers routing. These guys are still steady, but yeah, this could destroy Gondor very easily. He still has some Swan Knights, but the archers are dead, and now he's got a really good flank on the rest of the Gondor infantry clump. Going in again, doing some damage, but taking casualties. I mean, really, these guys here, they're basically really, really hard to deal with. I mean, I fought against dismounted Dunedain Knights, I fought with them, and they are basically just almost impossible enemies. I mean, okay, so he's got a lot of free troops over here now that he's finished off. This guy, basically this one dude here, like Braveheart, he's putting up a fight, and so until he's dead, I think that's actually the Arnor general, so until he's dead, these troops can't move around to the flank. And it's still a really close game, but actually right now it looks like Arnor might be able to win this. Like, if they can kill the Arnor general, which is... yeah, this guy here is the Arnor general. If they can kill him, then they might be able to pull it off. And so now the infantry and the Dunedain Rangers are getting engaged, and basically it's just the last ditch. Everybody is throwing in everything. And unfortunately for Gondor, I think that Arnor has enough troops left over they can actually pull this one off. They have... Okay, so Arnor's general is dead too now. So Gondor has freed up his infantry, so they can engage, but look, now these guys are routing from the archers and the rangers. So, yeah, and the archers are all that's left for Gondor, and this is definitely Arnor's game. Gondor has some archers left, but they're basically really tired, they're wiped out. And they really have no conceivable way of defeating these dismounted Dunedain Knights. I mean, got some spearmen, 3 spearmen there. But yeah, and on top of that, Arnor's archers have a flank on him now, so... Yeah, this is definitely going to be an Arnor victory now. I mean, that was really close. And it's kind of a heartbreaker for Gondor, because they got really close on that one. But I mean, basically just... yeah, just some finicky cavalry charges there, like right back here, that wiped out his Swan Knights, and yeah. Yep. Well, a great game to them both. That was a really close game. It's probably the closest that I've seen this tournament so far. But yeah, round 2 of the tournament should proceed very soon, and I'm looking forward to playing people. I'm looking forward to recording them, and I hope you'll be looking forward to watching them here. Yeah, signing off.